Hey guys, so today I'm here at one of my favorite parks in Southfield. Not because it has all the things that I like to do, like skateboarding, rollerblading, or basketball. It actually has none of that. But this park I've spent a lot of time reflecting, um, you know, just being alone, basically. So this is an amazing park. It's got a lot of trees. They actually just remodeled it, I guess, for like dog like for dog park type reasons, so that dogs can run in a gated area. They also have a path where you can like skateboard now, which actually works with me. So but I've come here literally just to sit in my car, be by myself. I came here literally to use a tent, set up a tent, and just chill in the tent. It's a nice park. But today we're here to talk about truth. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to me? What is it? What is actual truth? Because truth is subjective, right? Truth is completely dependent on who's saying it, right? We say nowadays, speak your truth, be yourself. Well, what is your truth? I'm just saying my viewpoint. I'm just saying my feelings. What am I experiencing? That's all I'm talking about here. I'm not saying what's actually true. And that's a great realization. That's a great thing for a person to say, to preface what they're about to say, because they're realizing, okay, this is not the end all be all, but this is my experience. Our truth is subjective, very subjective. And when you start to understand that everybody has a different experience of life, of different things, like my experience of growing up in a Christian based church, multiple Christian based churches, was different than other people's. Even though, like, a lot of times when Christians that have went to church their entire lives, we all say the same thing. Oh, I've been going to church my entire life. They talk as if we've had the same experiences, but we haven't. Some have gone to primarily Baptist churches. Myself, I've gone to primarily non-denominational. And even me putting one here and putting one there shows the divisiveness, the sort of division that the enemy has tried to create in the church, right? This type of church does things a certain kind of way. This type of church does things a different way. I recently went to church with my coworkers, and it was for a outreach reason, right? And we were talking amongst each other about how the different churches we were going to were more suited based on what we were used to, what we were accustomed to. My particular church was the non-denominational, though I could appreciate the Baptist church, but I was telling them like, no, this is what I'm more used to. But for them, this was different. It was something that they've never really experienced. So for them, it was contrary to what they're typically used to. They're not familiar with. So my experience of that non-denominational was, I was telling them, I was like, wow, this is actually, I'm feeling this. Like I feel the spirit of God like coming upon me. Their experience of it was kind of a curiosity, wondering, okay, what makes these people act in the way they do? My experience of being in the Baptist church was, this is cool, but I feel like I want something deeper. I want something different, maybe like more what I'm familiar with, like non-denominational. Maybe I wanted a more worship environment. My experience of that Baptist church was different and contrary to theirs. They enjoyed the more Baptist service more. And that's an example of how that experience that I had is not truth. It's not whether whether there's gravity or not, or whether I actually exist, or whether you actually hear the sound of the car. That's truth. I actually hear that. You guys may very well hear this depending on how the edit goes. That experience that I had is a self truth. If I tell them like, no, I didn't feel anything like I didn't feel that I needed more or wanted something deeper. If I told him I had the best time ever, I enjoyed it completely, well, then that would be a lie that's contrary to the truth that I felt in my heart. Just like Thomas in the Bible saying that I must touch his wounds. I must see him. I must see Jesus. I must touch his wounds where he was wounded. He was being honest. That was his experience, though there were those that believed without having to touch, without having to engage directly with it. But that is a part of faith. But there is a process of faith growing in an individual. And God gave Thomas that specific moment so that he could build his faith through that. But Jesus made it clear that those who believe without seeing, us right now, those who believe without seeing are more blessed. Yes, you are blessed to see and believe in that order, chronological. To see and then believe. You are blessed to be able to see and then believe. But those who believe without seeing are more blessed. So that's part of why Jesus said, you will do greater. One, we have the Comforter with us, the Holy Spirit leading us and guiding us, speaking to us, whispering to us in our minds. Two, faith has increased because God's glory has increased in the world. So our faith has to be stronger because we don't see Jesus physically as they did. Just as I'm looking at you, they saw Jesus. Just as you're looking at me, they saw Jesus. So see how the faith differs. We do see great men and women of faith in the Bible. For David, being as small in stature as he was, to believe that in God, he could overcome Goliath. And David somehow having faith that in God he could slay a bear and a lion. How does that is great faith. But think about the disciples and how they doubted. John the Baptist doubted, though he actually witnessed Jesus, baptized him. He touched Jesus, came into a direct interaction with Jesus. Yet he still asked, are you the one that we should be expecting? This is just like the Pharisees. They saw truth. They saw the word that they had been studying and been teaching, teachers of the law, leaders of the law, of the word. They saw him, looked him in the eye, and were not able to recognize. The experience that they were experiencing is similar to me. This might sound controversial. I believe that that is a similar experience to Pharaoh and how his heart remained hardened through the plagues. His heart remained hardened, though he chose to release the people. That was to relieve his pain. He released the people to Moses and ultimately to God because of the plagues and the deaths and how the people there underneath Pharaoh's rule, leadership, died and suffered because of his hardened heart, because of his pride. God allowed him to go further into that hardened heart. He didn't take the hardened heart away from him. But God had that choice, and he allowed that. Because what is it when you won't choose God, but you keep choosing sin, keep choosing other, keep choosing yourself? At some point, he allows you. He gives you a way to the sin that you want because he knows ultimately you may have to go down into that sin, into rock bottom for you to see that he was always there and he was always the better choice. He allows you to go down into that place. He allows you to see that just like he allowed the children of Israel to go into sin so that they could see the error of their ways. The problem with people is that through sin, they don't recognize the need for God. This is what this all comes down to. God gives you a way to your sin, allows you to go down the rabbit hole of sin, a different life than he intended for you, with hopes that the sin would show you that you actually needed God. The law was supposed to bring us to a place of soberness, humility, and recognition that we could not live up to it. We could not be perfect because Christ was always present in the law being presented. But people use the law to further sin. People use the law to hurt others, like the Pharisees. Use the law to control others, rather than use the law to recognize, God, I need you so deeply. I need you so powerfully. I need you more and more and more. And then a relationship begins. Just the idea that you know that you need God, just the recognition in your mind, the acknowledgement. You ever acknowledge someone? I saw that you did that there. Just the thought in your mind that I can't do this. The problem is the Pharisees said to themselves, oh, I can do this. And they created pride within themselves, making themselves their own God. I can do this on my own. And by making themselves their own God, they made the people of Israel make them the God, make them who they have to serve in order to serve God. Essentially creating a barrier between the people and God. You have to come through me, the Pharisee, the leader, the teacher of the law. What the law was supposed to do was create a recognition of our own inability to fully honor it and align with God. Knowing that you need God. You need God. God, I need you. It's supposed to create relationship. Knowing, God, I need you. I need you every day, every hour, every minute, every moment. That's what it's supposed to create. Instead, it created pride in people. Though there are some, not the majority, that it created a recognition of their own sinful nature, a recognition of the wickedness in their heart. That's how we got Abraham. That's an example. But many people did not recognize the need of God further. The law was supposed to lead them closer in relationship to God, not further into walking in a way that just follows rules, loving the law more than the giver of it. I hope this blesses you guys. Hope it blesses you mightily. For me, it's just great. It's just great to consider these things, to reflect over yourself and over the things of the Bible, and reflect over the fact that we all need God. That even this, I can't do without God giving me the ability, giving me strength in my body, giving me a right mind. I can't do it without the Holy Spirit bringing things back to my remembrance concerning His word and His truth. Like I said, I hope this blesses you guys. Thank you, and have a great day.